The next project you're going to hear about is about auction design for sponsored search. This is the sort of thing that underpins Bing Ads. It's how do you sell advertising and how do you increase revenue from selling that advertising. This has been done as part of the NEA group, which is a new group within Systems and Networking Group, which is looking at the intersection of networks, economics and algorithms.
So my name is Peter Key. I'm a principal researcher here at Cambridge and I look after a networks, economics and algorithms team. And this team really sits in between the boundaries of computer science, economics and machine learning and uses insights from all of those to try and design systems that really work well and benefit the end user. And we're particularly concerned with aligning incentives, so the incentives of the users and also the providers and Microsoft, and making sure they all come together to create the best outcome for everybody. So one particular example is working with the Bing Ads team. So what we've been doing is looking to redesign or help them improve their auction system. And we're showing that if you redesign the auction carefully, it's possible to increase revenues by up to something like 10%, whilst at the same time balancing the concerns or the interests of the users. So when a user comes to a computer, for example, and is looking for something, like, for example, a tablet computer, then a list of search results come up, and if you look carefully, you'll notice that in this area here, there's a slightly blue background, and these are sponsored ads. These are ads. So in this case here, there's 4 ads here. So this is called the main line. These are the most important ads where people bid more for, and there's also ads on the side. And so when I type that query in, what's going on, an auction is being run in real time to decide which ads to display. Because really there's 3 participants in this auction. There's the users who type in queries and they want to search for relevant content, they want to be shown relevant information. There's the advertisers who'd like their adverts to be displayed, and there's the publisher, Bing Ads, who'd like to earn revenue and money. And the revenue changes hands when users click on those ads. But they all have slightly different interests, and the aim is really to design a system that balances those interests and creates the best outcome for all the participants, all the players in this game. So one thing we've come up with is a kind of a new ranking technique which just slightly changes the way in which you decide to show these ads. I mean, perhaps hidden to the users, when you type in this query, actually underneath the hood is a lot of computation going on. This is an example of just taking 2 particular kinds of things you're interested. You're interested in revenue, for example, on this axis here, and also the number of ads shown, or the number of times things are clicked, and this is represented here by a click yield. And we've come up with a new ranking algorithm which really gives you this curve here. So you can see when you're designing the system, you're going to trade off between revenue and click yield. You want to maximize revenue and at the same time get a high number of clicks to show a high number of ads. And so it's a trade-off. But you can see if you look, this blue curve is actually always above the grey and the other curves, which says if you use this particular way of ranking the ads, you'll do better regardless of what your objective is. This is a really interesting example of an e-commerce technology which is becoming more and more widespread. You're looking at a way to get information from the user and give them the best possible experience, and bringing third parties to help that. So this tying with advertisers, and you can potentially get information from social networks as well to build into this picture, to bring it all together, really enrich and enhance the experience for the user.
The next project is another project from the Network Economics and Algorithms Group, and it's looking at how you encourage people to predict correctly the amount of effort they're going to require to do something. And the underlying idea here is that there will have to be incentives in order to get people to reveal the correct information about how long tasks will take or how much effort is required to perform a task. Obviously, this is a wide problem that has many applications in many different areas, including software engineering, project management, business planning, and so forth.
One of my main research interests is understanding how to provide people with incentives to do things like reveal information or work hard. So an example that's perhaps relevant to a company like Microsoft is that if you are a manager who's in charge of a software programmer, you might have multiple goals for them. So first you might want them to obviously work hard on a task that they've been given. And second, you might also want them to be able to provide you with an accurate estimate of how long the task is going to take, perhaps because you need to know that you have a suitable number of workers to complete all the things that you're going to need to get done in the current month, or because you might need to provide an estimate to a customer about how long the task is going to take and thus how much it's going to cost them. You could certainly come up with a variety of rules that help you quantify how well they're doing at making accurate predictions or how well they're doing at working hard on tasks. However, when you go and sort of combine these two things, if you're not careful, you can create bad incentives. For example, one way that I can do a really good job predicting how long a task is going to take is just going to say it's going to take me a really long time, and then if I just work slowly, I'll have made a really accurate prediction because I can time my work to end exactly when I said it was going to. So what I did with a number of collaborators is some work we called predicting your own effort, sort of studied all of the different ways you could go about combining these different incentives and characterized the ones that had good properties, that gave you the correct incentives to do both things without creating a bad incentives where one might undermine the other. One thing that companies are starting to do more and more is use crowdsourcing to solve a variety of tasks. And so this is where you might take a task as small as identifying what the subject of an image is and hire somebody and pay them a very small amount of money to just identify that for you. And that's a task that might take only a few seconds for a human to do. And so if you're looking for ways to leverage the power of the crowd and bring in all of these workers, you really want to understand the right way to incentivize them, the right way to structure the pay you're going to make to them to ensure that they're going to both work hard and give you good information.